The Onondaga County Sheriff's Office has provided a helicopter service to this community for 35 years. And during those 35 years, we have done tens of thousands of missions that have served the public in Onondaga County. We have a police mission that we use the helicopter for, we have a fire mission that we use it for, and we have a medical transport mission, all very important missions. Our medical mission has been part of Air1 for many, many years. There is a thing called the golden hour, which is the time that we can save a life.
The accident happened at 8 p.m. and she was on the roof at Upstate at 9.
It was a Saturday, and well, I came up here Saturday morning with one of my friends from high school, and it was a beautiful day. It was like 90 degrees, the lake was calm.
Both of the men were on tubes, just towing them back and forth. And we got about halfway down the lake, and one had fallen off, and I'd stopped to pick him up. I pulled into one tube, and it went in with no problem. The other one, I couldn't get the rope, I realized was caught at the time. I thought was caught behind the outdrive of the boat.
The rope from the tube had wrapped around the prop and basically stalled the boat.
So I put the tubes in the boat and basically pulled the rope up from behind the outdrive, away from the prop, and tied it off to the ski tow, and really thought it would be fine.
And we were like, all right, well, we're just going to idle slowly home.
I started the boat and drove around in circles and made sure it was fine, turned and sharp and back and forth, and went a little faster, and totally in my mind and heart and soul, sure that it was safe. You can imagine my daughter and this other gentleman sitting in the boat. They were sitting up on the back with their feet on the seat, and the tubes were up in the front, and the ropes were in the front.
So we went a little bit faster, and I remember when he went faster, the rope that I was holding basically just got caught on the other one and just wrapped around the prop very quickly. And I was holding it, so it basically was all around me and threw me and this other guy that was in the boat into the water.
As I looked back, I saw my daughter and this other young man get thrown right out of the boat at 40 miles an hour. The boat instantly stalled.
So then I screamed to my dad. I said, Dad, my leg is ripped off.
And I was looking around, and the boat wouldn't start, and Laura was yelling to me that her leg was gone. And I dove in the water and swam to her as quick as I could. We couldn't start the boat. We were in the middle of the lake, 8 o'clock at night. Had a cell phone on board that didn't work, didn't have coverage where we were. We just screamed as loud as we could for help. And finally, this guy came out who had a cell phone that worked. And for some reason in my mind all along, I knew that we needed a helicopter. I mean, I just knew. So we hollered to him that we needed a helicopter, and he made a call.
So it was just like, I was like, thank you, Dad, because I always had such a great childhood. I grew up here, and my parents were wonderful, and, I had a wonderful, wonderful life.
Laura had told me, she said that she'd had a great life, had been a good father, but she had to go.
We were on a patrol flight. It was Chief Pilot Carl Mosgard, myself, and Paramedic Paul Webster. We were flying in the western part of the county, and we heard a boat accident get dispatched.
If I was shaking her, telling her that she wasn't going anywhere, this helicopter came out of nowhere.
It was very, very quick from when we asked for a helicopter to when one came. And I remember thinking, how did it get here so fast? Like, I just couldn't believe it.
The helicopter, he was right above us, spraying water in our face, and he took off and landed in the field. The fire boats were coming out at this time, and we got her in the boat, got her to shore. As we got her to shore, we took her off the dock, and a pickup truck came down, and we put her in the back of the pickup truck and went up the hill to the helicopter.
Then we flew her to the hospital, which was a matter of maybe 15 minutes at the most. So we had her in the hospital within less than an hour of the accident.
Well, I wrote the sheriff a letter after Thanksgiving. I told him, I said, we said grace today and you were in it, and Laura was with us. Thank God for Air1. 15 minutes more and she would have been dead. I'd sent him my Social Security check if it would help. Well, the police mission are the general patrols that we do on a daily basis, the responses to things like pursuits. When we can put the helicopter into a pursuit situation, we can get the patrol cars from multiple agencies to back off, allow the helicopter to follow the suspect that we're pursuing, and it really creates a much safer environment, and you can't get away from the helicopter once he's got you spotted. The video downlink is used for any number of purposes. For example, if we have a hostage situation, we can put the helicopter up and videotape what's going on and live action send that to the command center where we are set up with our command trailer and monitors, and we can actually see live what is going on at that particular hostage situation. Well, we have cross-trained with all of the emergency services in Onondaga County and the police agencies throughout the county. And we're prepared and continuously drill to make sure that if something major happens, Air1 is one component and a major component. It gives us the eyes in the sky, it gives us the ability to see what's going on, it gives us the ability to determine where we're going to place our manpower, when it's safe for firefighters or emergency medical personnel to move in. It gives us guidance as to where to deploy our SWAT teams, and that's not just the sheriffs alone. That's a cooperative effort and an interoperability that we have worked out with all the law enforcement agencies, firefighters, and emergency medical services in Onondaga County. Well, Air1 has the capability, and the pilots and crews have the training to perform rescue missions of all sorts. We have been able to drop our flight paramedics into remote areas where they're able to treat injured individuals. We've been able to airlift people off of the sides of some of the cliffs in the area. We have areas such as Pratt's Falls where there's a very difficult climb from the bottom to the top. To try to bring somebody up would be almost impossible. We've been able to airlift some individuals from those kinds of situations. There's a number of rescues that we've been able to do with Air1 in addition to the lake rescues, both on ice and sometimes from boats that have capsized or caught fire. We've been able to airlift people from those in the various lakes and rivers throughout the county.
The day was June. It was a 17-year-old female. The 17-year-old female fell approximately 150 to 200 feet down a straight rock cliff into the gorge. The female had suffered some significant injuries, and we were faced with a scenario where the difference between life and death can become time. The last time, we've done several, but the last time we did a manual gorge rescue because we couldn't get a helicopter. It took us approximately 3 fire departments in 2 hours and 45 minutes to traverse back up those angles to get that patient to an ambulance before we could get them to a hospital.
We were on a patrol flight. It was Chief Pilot Carl Mosgard, myself, and paramedic Paul Webster, and we received a request for a helicopter to rescue a person that fell down a gorge. We responded to the scene. It was in the evening, starting to get dark. We landed. I got out of the helicopter and assessed the situation. I went back and talked to Chief Pilot Mosgard and told him that my recommendation was that we were to fly down into the gorge. There was just enough room for the helicopter to get down in there. We could land next to the victim and extract her that way.
And was actually came down into the gorge, picked up the female, and brought her out of the gorge. It saved probably 2 to 2.5 hours in time from the actual onset of the incident to the time she was at a trauma center and getting definitive medical treatment, which we couldn't give her.
We got the helicopter set up for the rescue configuration, landed down in the gorge. Paramedic Webster and myself got out, assisted the victim into the helicopter, flew her up out of the gorge, got her stabilized for the flight to the hospital, and brought her to University Hospital.
In 32 years, I've watched a lot of people die that didn't have to die. And the only reason they died, because we didn't get them where they needed to be quick enough. In Prospect, New York, and unfortunately I wish I could limit it to Prospect, but I can't. In so many areas surrounding Onondaga County and the Adirondack Mountains, the difference between life and death is the air medical service. And it doesn't become a question of what do we do to afford it. I guess the real question becomes, how can we not afford it?